Hey, Mike, Jason Payne, owner of State 48 Roofing, out here with one of my sales reps, Mr. Brent, and we are going to be doing this inspection. We will be taking pictures and documenting it and sending it to you via email, but also I'm going to send this video, and you can pass this video on to the register of contractors, to the solar company, to the roofing company, to whoever you'd like. But we're going to go ahead and get started here. It's going to be a decent sized video, so grab some popcorn, sit down. Here we go. Start with the patio roof first. Couple things that are problems here. If you look closely, you can see the ripples. That's this roof was foamed over an existing roof. It was not torn down to the plywood, which is still code and still okay. Not preferred, but you can still do it. You can see where there's naturally going to be a little bit of ponding water behind these lines from where the seams are, just because they didn't cut them. More than likely there were buckles. Especially over here. It looks like somebody tried to fix one or cut one or seal one or something. But yeah, there's definitely going to be a little bit, nothing crazy, but there will be some sort of standing water back behind here that needs to be addressed over here too as well. That's a minor concern, but it is a concern. Another concern that I don't like, and that is going to be an issue. It hasn't rained yet, so you can't see it, but this scupper, if you get close enough, this scupper is actually higher right here. The foam right here is higher than behind the scupper. So there's going to be standing water here. Once you spray water on it, that's going to be a problem. And it's like that there's 4 scuppers, at least 2 of the 4 of them have problems. Not life or death, but I would definitely recommend that you have somebody come and seal the top of your parapet walls, your cracks. I know that probably wasn't part of the scope of work, but in a perfect world, you want to foam up and over the Z-bar, encapsulate it, and come up and then stop your foam right here on the edge. That we can encapsulate your stucco, because your stucco is cracked on the top and can lead to issues. Channel metal?
Channel metal.
Okay.
They never removed the channel metal, the old channel metal, so they went over the existing to get the tile seal underneath the channel metal. You have to lift it fully, and also you can tell that it has never been lifted enough. And as you can see right here, they just put tons of mastic down and it looks like they stopped right at it.
So this is the original channel metal. By code, you don't have to, but stereotypically, when you do a refelt, you replace all the channel metal, and then you can either reuse a Z-bar or put a #1 counter flashing up against it. But from what it looks like, they put the tile seal up against, because you can't get up underneath that channel metal. You just can't. You can kind of lift it up and move it and put it back down, but it's never going to be the same. And this is just a bunch of tar there. So there's no channel metal here. Same thing here. There's no channel metal here. There is a ton, probably 1 to 2 trash bags worth of debris in the gutters. All the gutters around the entire house are completely full of debris, and that is not even vegetation. That is actually legitimate roofing debris, from plastic caps to nails to the old felt paper that was ripped off, cut tile pieces, etc. Go ahead, Brent.
Under here, your diverter, they had cut it, smashed it, and then basically did not put it back where it should go. So now it's actually cupping water and diverting it back, allowing it to sit. None of these tiles have anything securing them whatsoever. And also they ran a nail in the pan portion of the pan, which is against code. And on top of that, didn't even put any mastic or anything on top of that. So it's just...
That stucco piece behind there just needs some caulking on the outside. That's more cosmetic than anything. Water can get in there, but this kick-out flashing needs to be redone. Can't have a fastener in the channel. And if you do, you shouldn't. And then also these all these tiles, the cut tiles here, and on this other side, because you cannot fasten it, it needs to be secured properly.
Not nailed this whole course.
Which one? Second one?
The first course, what I just saw. Yep, first course. Second course has nails. Third course, the whole first course does not have nails.
So the first row of tile does not have nails. Let me just double check and show you guys here. So there you go. Oh, this one does.
Oh, that one does?
That one does. That one does.
This one does that. That one doesn't.
Yeah, so there's your first row of tile. So we're here over the back patio, right here. So that tile, that one does. The other one doesn't. The first one.
Yep.
So there's intermittent nailing pattern. As you know, the nailing pattern per code is the first 3 from the top and from the bottom. And so row 1, 2, and 3 need to be secured. And then your top row 1, 2, 3 down need to be secured as well. So there's intermittent stuff here and there. We'll show you what has or hasn't been done as we go along here. Also, where your T-tops are, your pipe jacks, and your dormer vents, especially your dormer vents, you're going to have a lot of cut tiles. None of those tiles were secured. Let me show you here. 1 second, Brett. There you go. So, yeah, so that tile right there, those tiles need to be secured, and they're not. So there's definitely an issue there. So we need to make sure those get some sort of adhesive on there, whether it's caulking or tar or both, because you can't obviously secure it. So, as you can see here, let me get back down to here. Which one? Yeah. So also, if you look closely here, there's more of your debris. There's a Sprite soda pop can in the gutters as well too. It needs to be cleaned out. This tile was actually not even laid right. You can see there. This tile is supposed to go underneath this one. So there's some tiles that aren't installed properly. We're gonna go over here. This is over the back patio. There's another issue over here that you have some stretch courses on this roof. This is on the back side, which is the north slope. So code is a 3-inch overlap. You see the tape measure here. There's your 3-inch mark. So you're what, not even 2.5 inches. Oh, there you go. If you look at that, you can see the number 2. So this is the 6th, 7th course up. You should have a 3-inch overlap, and there's 2 other rows on here that are not done with a 3-inch overlap as well too, which is code. Another thing here, you might be able to see it. You can definitely see it in person. Might not be able to see it on this video per se, but if you look up here between the pipe jack and the dormer vent, you can see the tile does kind of like a little S movement. So it kind of shades and goes, it kind of moves. Those tiles from being offset. Also, some of these tiles down here, actually the entire first and second row, this one you can see obviously with the shadow. The first and second row, especially the second row, is cockeyed. They're going like this instead of being straight. They're sideways there. There's some extra tiles left on the roof, which is not life or death. They were spray painted, which is obviously more of a cosmetic feature, but not recommended. That were left up here as well. There's some random tiles. Like I said, this one's super crooked. You actually see the water channel completely exposed here, and this cut tile underneath here. That's literally a cut tile that needs to, one, should have a nail because this is the second row. Number 1, number 2, it's cut, so you can't do that. So what about these other ones? Right, were these other ones nailed? Yeah, so this whole second row, this is the second row over the patio. Second row is not nailed. Third row is not nailed either. So over your patio, and I'm assuming this first one's not either.
Yep, nope.
So your first, your second, and your third row over your patio, all these all the way down. So row 1, 2, 3 along the entire patio. None of these are nailed at all in any way, shape, or form, which is obviously also code, which needs to be addressed. All right, let's go to this back side of this house. Go ahead and grab your tape. Brent, what's next on the list that we were?
I have the ridge tiles here. They missed on the mastic. They're loose, lifted everywhere.
So by code, per the Tile Roofing Institute pamphlet or booklet, I apologize. They're supposed to be tarred and nailed, but people get messed up. You're not supposed to put the tar on the sides. You're supposed to put it over the nail head.
Yep.
By code. So one, you have to have a fastener in there, and 2, you have to have mastic or silicone or caulking or something on top of that fastener, not on the sides. So we need to go back and reseal those. What about the nailing pattern on the tops?
I got there yet.
Alrighty, so we are over the garage area, which is the west slope of the roof. Now, it's not the entire row, but there's certain sections where this is row number 3. This is on the back side of the patio, west of the patio on the very west slope. That tile right there should be replaced. And if we look close enough, like I said, these tiles are super, this top row is super cockeyed. And it's not straight at all. If you line them up, you can see this top row, like I said, they're all cockeyed there. But yeah, there's random missing tiles here and there. that weren't nailed, rows that weren't nailed, and so that's something obviously needs to be addressed. Alrighty, so we're still on the west slope over the garage area. So you have what are called hips, and there's cut tiles. These cut tiles need to have a fastener on them, and there's no fastener. So we need to make sure that when they get put back in, that you put some sort of fastener or adhesive on there as well. Alrighty, so over here on the west side or west slope of the house, this is actually a 2-inch pipe jack but it's only a 1.5-inch ABS pipe, so there's a big old fat gap right there. And these need to be cucked and actually turned in. And if they're the right size, they'll actually go on the inner side of the ABS pipe. Some of them were replaced, some of them weren't. Like for example, this one definitely wasn't, because you can literally, if you're close enough, you can see the hail dents and hail strikes. And this roof is, I think, less than 30 days old. But you can't just cut and fold these. You have to actually cut and tuck them and put them in. And it's as simple as with your thumb and your finger like that. So those need to be redone there. Here's another one. Here's another row here where, like I said, you're barely under 3 inches. You're not at 3, but you're definitely shy of it. Like I said, code 3 inches. We're just pointing out what we see and what needs to be addressed. The second course on the lower end. So let me walk you down here. So this is over the garage on the west slope still. There is, what's this? Oh, that's just extra underlayment. We'll leave that here in the gutters.
There's a water bottle in the
There's a water bottle in the gutter over there.
The second course is not nailed.
So this is on the second row, going up in the garage. There's no, not on that one either. Nope. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so there's no tile, no nails on the second row as we continue to go. I'll stop there. So that's the second row over the west slope. It needs to be nailed and secured. These are just cosmetic, guys. This is not ROC, anything is more cosmetic. But when they cut the hip tiles, they dingo the other tiles. Technically it does compromise the tile, but I would not write that up in a report other than just it being more cosmetic. Some of these guys, these corner chip pieces here, should be replaced. Those guys should be redone.
I'm just looking at the...
Alrighty, so we are here on the front side of the house. On the front side of the house, obviously we're talking about more debris in the valleys. There's probably a dozen nails, simplex plastic caps, that kind of stuff in the valleys here. This is the second row on the south slope. Also stretched, not installed correctly. There's your 3, and you're pushing every bit of 2 on that course. That's the second course. In the valley, also code any cut tile needs to have a fastener. So not just your hips, but also your valleys. They need to be caulked. So literally not one tile in any of the valleys were caulked. So you need to come back and slap some adhesive on these guys and make sure those get secured. Alright, so I was lifting up this area to check for coverage purposes, and there's a water bottle underneath here, so you might want to grab that. That is on the, I don't know, probably 10th row up or so on the south side of your house on the front facing part. Number 10? Yep, 10th row. Okay, so this one's an immediate concern, to be honest, in regards to leakage and just destroying the tile seal and the underlayment from here forwards. Brent, I'll let you go ahead and explain this. Go ahead.
The valley does not extend past the tile 1/4 inch or the edge of the roof. So right here it stopped short. And then also up under here, the channel, there's nothing on top of the channel or overlapping the channel. And it's up under here. There's absolutely nothing. It's just the top edge of a channel.
It's wide open.
Wide open.
And that could have been fixed if the channel was replaced, correct?
If the valley, yeah, and if the channel was replaced, and if they would replace this in the beginning, they would have had access to that top of that channel. Okay,
so when you tear that off, that gets redone before they do the valley metal. Obviously, when you tear the valley out, that's when you put the channel metal in, the number 1 counter flashing in, and redo that to make sure that you have that whole transition there. And then this valley metal needs to come out. You can see where the spray paint line is too. Right there, you need to be able to see the entire width of the pan which is a 24 inches. So you should need to be able to see it. So the right side, you can see, actually the right side's not bad.
Yeah, the right side.
Right side's good. You can actually see it. So close enough. So it's actually right there where it needs to be. You can see the very end of that valley metal. But that one goes 3 or 4 inches. So what happens is when the water comes down, the water will hit this batten board, and instead of going on top of this row of tile right here, it actually dumps underneath, and it will destroy this piece here. Obviously it'll take time because you have really good tile seal, really good underlayment, but over time it'll do that. Also, where Brent is kneeling right now, that is the second row, and there's no tiles.
No nails. And
third row, no nails.
No mastic on any of the cuts right here either. And this was just sitting.
So any of the cut tiles, there's some debris up on the roof. Any of the cut tiles were not secured either. So that's also some other things we need to address. Alrighty, so we are here over the front entry of the house. If you look close enough, you can see the same thing as bottom row is just completely cockeyed compared to the rest of the rows. So it looks like the first row is either laid straight and the other ones are all cockeyed, or the second one. But either way, this whole front slope here, this triangular piece, this hip roof, is not straight at all. It needs to be addressed.
Replacing tile seal, they just put mastic over them.
Alrighty, so basically what happened is, if I recall correctly, this valley metal was originally single rib valley metal, and the homeowner had the contractor have it replaced. When they replaced it, they pulled these batten boards out, but they literally just flipped them upside down, so that's where you can see the staples coming up. So they actually reused the same batten boards down through the entire valley, and they reused them, so they flipped them upside down, and then they put mastic randomly, where I'm assuming where the staple holes were. So you can see little holes where the mastic was. So they flipped those, and then they restapled them. Now, this is not in the TRI manual, but this is in the Boral Tile Seal pamphlet installation guide. The the side laps or end laps are supposed to have either mastic, or they're supposed to be folded and then nailed, because the sticky part, right, the self-adhering part of the underlayment is not meant to adhere to the polyester. And so you have to, on your end laps, you have to either put a whole thing of tar there so it grabs, or you literally tuck it and then you nail it in. Obviously code is a 6-inch minimum, mentions that on there as well too. So from one roll to the other, you need to have a 6-inch overlap. Same thing here too, is on some of these rows, the tile seal is installed upside down. And so it's intentionally built. Like you can see, I mean, it's 80, 90 degrees outside right now, and I can put my hand underneath there, and it's not grabbing to the polyester as well. Hence why they want you to do that. So the bottom pieces here too as well are supposed to be, if you look here, they're supposed to go on top of each other, and they're supposed to be directly onto the decking or onto the next row, which is right here. That one stops and that one doesn't. That's why you need mastic right here, because this is going to happen. This will never adhere. That little sticky guy that's 3 inches wide, that's where you want to go, and then when that stops, that's when you need to put tar underneath there. So that's pretty much it, except for we got one more. That's probably the most concerning part of the roof and the house in general, and that is to the right of the front door. You got a bird's nest in this gutter over here, right here, with a 5-inch nail in this part of the gutter. I'm actually going to pause you guys and hop down. Actually, let's talk about this part right here. So basically what happens is, I'll show it to you here in a second, but this whole piece here should be torn up, and then you want to put in a new channel metal with a new number 1 counter flashing, and then caulk the flashing. That way you can get underneath, and then you need to have flashing at the bottom that'll push it out. I'm going to show you here from the ladder view where I can actually see bare OSB plywood, which is a big no-no. Is there anything up here you wanted to point out?
Just no.
Or from below?
Just the same stuff. Just no seal.
Yeah. So these tiles just slide right out. So you can see there's no fasteners on any of these guys. So let me flip you around. Hold on one second.
Bird stuff's not tucked up.
Hey Mike, sorry, my phone overheated, so I had to go back and get it going here. So I'm gonna show you one more spot, probably the most problematic spot on the roof. Is that fair, Brent?
Yeah. Oh, for
sure. That's literally a hazard and asking for water to come in, like literally the first rainstorm. Let me flip you around and show you. So this is to the right of the front door. To the right of this, I'm assuming window for an office or whatever the case may be. There's your shield for your gutters to stop and go down. Look up underneath here, literally inside of here is actual OSB plywood. So yeah, there needs to be a channel metal that goes here, but it goes there and it stops. So there's the existing channel metal there in the back, underneath those 2 tiles. But then there should be another one here, and there also should be a kick-out flashing, because right now that water will go behind that stucco and through that OSB, and anywhere that tile comes off, that little flashing right here is going to come down, go onto this drip edge, not even hit the drip edge, but hit the OSB and go right into your house immediately. And obviously there's some more debris in the gutters, but this is the most problematic area. So you're missing a channel metal, a number 1 counter flashing, or a Z-bar, but when you do a re-roof, you can't put a Z-bar there. So you're missing a channel metal, a counter flashing, and a kick-out flashing in this part of the house. And so like I said, all the water that runs from that valley comes down on these tiles and comes in right here with the current old channel metal that should have been replaced, right here, and then it's just running into here where you can see all the new OSB plywood. So anywho, that's probably the worst part of the roof that obviously needs to get addressed immediately. Thank you so much.